Today we are literally talking about that Mackem Slayer. Yes, we will come to her a little bit later.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been a lot of talk with the men's as well. Obviously, that's for a different video, but tonight we are going to be talking about the Mackem Slayer and obviously the 3-3 thrilling draw against Charlton. Do you want to call it thrilling? Perhaps not. However, I'm joined by Joseph in your heels.
Sunshade. It's just in case I turn my lights right up. Do you know what I mean? Because when I'm blinded by the lights. Notice how I put a little twist on that, avoid copyright over here and stuff like that,
I'll sing them, haven't you?
I am very ready for this one. I've been very eager. Obviously, we've been very, very, very busy bees lately, so we haven't been able to quite get it locked down the way we want to do. But Lee has done a fantastic job at whipping this stream together. Tonight, very last minute, we've both been out and about doing other ventures, and it's exciting times ahead, Lee, isn't it?
What better time to talk about when it's women's international break to bring it up, to bring it back to life a little bit. So, welcome everybody if you're watching live on Twitch and we're live on YouTube, or if you're just watching the rerun, or even if you're listening to the audio, drop us a massive 5-star if you listen on the audio. It does help this women's pod get searched. We've got a couple of comments before we wrap into it. Tonight we are going to be talking about obviously that Sunderland game, the Charlton game, the quiz, obviously guess who it is who we're talking about tonight, and obviously a couple of match stats and stuff. But David is in the comments already. David Cooper, whatever happened to supporting our teams and getting the stadium bouncing? The supporters let the club down. Don't know if that's referring to the men or the women. Do please elaborate, David, because I think the home support and the away support of the last two games have been decent. Liam, are you watching the stream in 3D, Joe? Our Liam?
Yeah, read me. Bloody hell, yeah, actually. Yeah, what's going on? Where are we on Wednesday at the Shields match? Come on.
And my brother's in the live chat as well. Connor, who I'm got the gym with later on the night.
Connor, shout out, my man. While I've got a chance, I want a big shout out to you, Connor, because Lee tells us how much you enjoy my content. Obviously, I've already had a couple of voice note transactions with you. That sounds really wrong. But Connor, yeah, shout out to you, mate. Appreciate it, Connor Lola. Like, big love, but obviously big shout out to your brother Lee. He's done most of this of making me crazier and more nuts. So, yes, enjoy the gym later. Work each other hard. Keep it up.
We will do. We will do. Right. So we're going to jump straight to it. First clue. And then we'll get on to the serious stuff. Who am I? I have a YouTube channel. Now that's a curveball. I have a YouTube channel and my last upload was within 2 months ago. So remember, this is linked to Newcastle United Women. It could be a current player. It could be a current staff member. It could be an ex-player. It could be an ex-staff member. It could be someone in the world of media. It could be anyone. It could be pundit, whoever. It has some sort of affiliation with Newcastle United Women, and it's a person. Okay, so clue 1. I have a YouTube channel, and my last upload was within 2 months ago, so fairly recent. Obviously, clue 1 is always the hardest. Clue 2 is the medium. And clue 3, of course, is the easiest one. By the time you should hopefully get that come the end of the show. Liam says, I'd rather not freeze in the middle of Medwell. You're funny as love, man. Love heart as well. Okay, you two left to meet some. I mean,
definitely.
Right, you just want to come to the women's game as well. Just keep banging on. Voice notes. Lee, you want to come to the women's game? It looks mid. Looks good. That Dave's proper funny. Joe's proper mid.
Little fanboy.
Yeah. Right, let's talk about it. The Mackems, of course. We were all waiting for a Joe for literally as the fixtures got announced, didn't we? The trip to the Mackems. Obviously, you can see a few of the scenes here when we're in the concourse. A lot of the fans were just gathering, and there's your little one as well, and there's you selling your fake match program. Which had how many people did you have going there?
Well, somehow, like I mean, in the downstairs when we're walking about, everyone was coming over. Where do I get a program? A couple of people tried to give us money for them, and after the match as well, I had people like messaging us. I had a good 3 or 4 messages a few days after the match. Yeah, you got a program left. I was like, yeah, I wasn't selling them.
And that was class. It was good to see little Emmy enjoying herself as well with that big hot dog as well, trying to get that doing. And a lot of people looking forward to this, and it took a good 2,500. That doesn't really surprise me, but it's good to see so many there, man, wasn't it? There's you again.
Here's me again, you know what I mean? Do you know what? That one thing like that these images are showing so well, how happy everyone was. You're looking about and everyone's got smiles on their faces. Everyone's like buzzing to be be here and be doing this. I stressed upon it in my vlog at the start when I turned around and I said, look, we've put blood, sweat and tears to get to where we are, and we've always wanted this game, this derby. And everyone was buzzing. It was such a great, one of the best away day atmospheres I've experienced. It's definitely up there with the Luton when we started out at Luton. It's definitely up there with that and Burnley. But unbelievable. Love
it
it.
Was fantastic, wasn't it, to see all the fans gathering and everyone excited talking about it. Even I got the metro in for change. I didn't take my car in, and we all met up obviously after the game as well to have a pizza and a pint and stuff at the Stack, which was great. So it was a fantastic day, and I think everyone was looking forward to it, especially in the women's community. That's because it's not often we play Sunderland in a competitive game. That'll be a fact finder in a competitive game. The last time we played them, if we ever have. But Causy's in the chat, evening chap. He'll be up for the quiz. I know he will be. And Liam's off to watch Married at First Sight. Enjoy the stream, lads. God, that's bad as Sam Mulliner watches that cooking program on Channel 4, The Bake Off.
The Bake Off.
It's just as bad. I don't know what's worse. So, thanks for sticking around though, Liam. Appreciate that. Let's get straight to it. The lineups, Joe. And it was a big decision because there's a couple of injuries. Would Potsy play? She did. I think playing her in an environment like this, in a calm way, because she is very calm, in an environment where you want her playing.
Yeah. Potts had to be in that game, if you ask me. She knows so much about the likes of Sunderland. She's got a certain way with all about her. She's a born natural leader. She's also one of those who, as much as she's passionately involved and wants to be a huge part of the fan base and such like that, she's really good at putting that aside and getting on the pitch, putting her head down and moving on. I was really glad to see all the Potts get a start alongside Olivia Watt too. I was buzzing. I said before the game, we need players like Potsy and Watt starting this match, because it's how important it is, how much it means something to these players. And by golly, did them two put it on the line, like two of my best players that day.
Yeah, and I just want to touch upon, we'll bring the lineup again. We'll keep this on a loop. We'll bring it back in again there for everybody. The big talking point I thought up front was Amy Andrews literally dropped to the bench, and for Shania. What do you thought of that?
It was a one that I hadn't sort of, to be nice, I hadn't hoped for it. But I did want to see Andrews sort of move aside in that match, because I think it was always going to be a very high-paced, physical match. And as much as Andrews has got pace, she does have a bit of strength behind her. I think she might have struggled to really settle in that game from the very start. And I would have definitely, before that match, wanted to see her coming in as a substitution later on, when it's a bit tighter and we need to get them balls over the top and everyone's moving a bit slower, and then 80th, 90th minutes, and feed the type of striker that I think she is, then that would be more effective. It was I think it was a really good choice. It was for me personally, it was one of the strongest lineups, if not the strongest lineup, with the players she had available that Becky could have picked on the day. Fantastic choices.
Yeah, because we learned obviously a couple of injuries there, wasn't there, in the lead up to into the week. Obviously, Izzy getting a start on the right hand side, I thought she was quite bright in the first half, and obviously our best pal was back on the bench, because you mentioned Liv Watt coming at right back, and Miss Jewel was back on the bench, and I thought actually Liv was probably, we'll talk about the Charlton game later, very unlucky not to keep her place, because I thought she was actually, what you get with Liv Watt, she's a defender who just loves to defend. That's the first and foremost. She's not attacking fullback who will go past players and whip balls in. She's not that type. She's just stick on the defence and she'll defend. And I think she's incredibly lucky. Obviously, we'll talk about Charlton, but let's talk about the game, Joe, because it got off to a fantastic start, especially in that first half. We've got a few celebrations around us here, and the way, first of all, the Mackem Slayer, Bethel Lumsden there, the way she took that. It's a great. I think, is it Fernie who got the assist? I might be wrong on that. Who plays her in and touches it to her right and then just puts it in the back of the net. I thought she took the goal incredibly well.
Oh, it was a fantastically well taken goal when she caught it. I wasn't expecting it to go in. I was buzzing. The beauty about that goal, stop for a minute and take it away from the Mackem Slayer herself, is Bernie and David and a couple of others had started to stand up if you love the Toon chant, and everyone was stood up. And when Beth puts the goal in, everyone's already stood up. It was phenomenal. Absolutely amazingly taken goal, and it just goes to show the ability that Beth Lumsden, the Mackem Slayer, has got about. I don't know if you can hear my voice, but I'm getting buzzing watching these clips and thinking back to these moments. It was class, man.
Yeah, we all scattered across the way section, which was quite funny in one sense. But obviously, great scene. That one there was the second goal. If you listen on audio, we're just showing some match celebrations and clips over the top. But yeah, it was unbelievable, that feeling to go 1-0, and people are overreacting on my personal TikTok, and loads of Mackem's jumping on it, saying, "Oh, it's just a women's game. Oh, you're sad, oh," and all that sort of stuff. I love it. I absolutely love it, and I'll celebrate the women like I do. And I think Dave was saying that you're seeing a different side of me recently, with the cameras pointing towards it home as well, because he sees me celebrating as well. So it's nice to see that someone's picked that. I'm not just holding the camera all the time. I actually am enjoying the moment, and that was great to see. Beth Lumsden, Mackem Slayer, I think it coming at a fantastic time. And to be honest with you, though, Joe, Sunderland had a bit of possession, but were they a real threat in that first half?
Oh no! First half, Sunderland were not the team that I was expecting them to be. I went into that game and I was a little bit worried, because we've got to know that Sunderland are in a position right now where they've had a very, very rough start of the season.
Yeah.
So they were looking for that comeback, and I was like, could it be against us? You know, like that fabled story where everything gets broken, and it wasn't. And in that first half, my goodness, they looked a bit of a shambles. I couldn't believe it, and there was
Yeah,
no.
were you surprised considering their form had turned? Because they beat Sheffield United, they got
Yep,
a great point against Charlton, and
yep.
then they beat, who did they beat? London City Lionesses.
Did they beat London City
I'm
Lionesses?
sure. They, I'm sure they won one in the cup. They beat London City Lionesses. I'm sure they drove Charlton. They were starting to turn their season around, because they got off to a really poor start, and then they've come back and thought,
Durham,
oh, they were.
Durham,
Was it Durham? Was it?
Durham. They beat
Was that
Durham
not
like
after?
2-1. No, no.
Oh, was that before? I thought that was
Oh no, that
afterwards.
was after us. Sorry, no, that was just before. Oh no, it was afterwards. Sorry, I'm reading that completely wrong. It was
Yeah, it was after
afterwards.
they played Durham.
It
'Cause,
was the beat Sheffield. Oh no, they beat London City Lionesses. They beat Sheffield, and then yes, it was a draw against Charlton, and then
you
obviously they
stick
got
with
to that
me,
final.
people. You stick with me.
Mm.
No, but I was like, because the start of the game, I was like, ooh, they're in a little bit of good form. This is tied up perfectly for the derby. But as I say, that first half, I can't really remember Claudia having a save to make, and obviously that's a return back to our former clubs. She would have been probably a little bit emotional all over the place returning, but the second goal come very quickly, didn't it?
Oh
Literally from the corner. I'm sure it was early in the second half with that corner. And to be honest with you, though, Joe, I didn't know what happened. I couldn't see. I was like, "Oh, scored!" It was a bit like scored, a bit like surprise. What's happened?
yeah, where we were, we looked over and like we could just. It was weird because from my angle, it looked like it hit the back of Hannah Greenwood and went in. And I was like, oh, Bella's Hannah Greenwood scored a goal by her back. Like, I don't care. We're 2-0 up, you know what I mean? But when you look back on them replays, like, wow. Did she mean it? Did she mean it?
Not for me. I don't think anyone means to score from a corner.
It's
If
magical.
if she does it again, then fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it's a one-off, I'm like, nah, because I generally thought it was an own goal at first off the keeper. I thought, oh, they've scored an own goal. Belter, we're 2-0, but we don't really care. We're 2-0 up, and
Yeah.
it's can you go and see the game out? And obviously there was a bit of pressure with Sunderland. Obviously they nicked the goal back. Were you nervous when they scored?
Yes. Because of the, and it's a total contrast to what we're seeing before about Sunderland in the first half. But after Sunderland nicked that goal and it amplified in the last 10 minutes, they started doing what Durham did to her. And they really started pressing her. They started switching the passing up. They started like just on a whim. They were changing decisions. Players were switching places. It was difficult for us to. I would not lie, and I'm proud that we got through it. But I would not lie and say we handled that second half well. No. Durham rattled her, and then Sunderland did the exact same as what Durham did, and they really did start to rattle her. Is it game management? I don't know.
We survived it. I know I'll come back to that question with Charlton, because obviously we conceded so late against Durham. And I thought, oh, that's so deflating. But obviously we did concede, and I was thinking, God, it's coming. I don't know why I'm thinking negative. It's coming. They're going to score. They're going to score. But obviously it was like hanging on. It was, yes, they didn't really test the goalkeeper as such in a great deal, one or two minor saves, but we did hang on. We got the win, and you can just sense the celebrations as the lasses come over. Look at Amber Keegan starts giving it large with the badge. Still doing it there, and you're seeing all the players pushed in front and milking, rightly so, the celebration, because a lot of these lasses, this is the nearest thing that they get to maybe glory at the time we are Derby, and vice versa for Sunderland lasses, and some of them might never reach the WSL and what have you, but look at them giving it large. And
Jody.
there's a couple of clips where I do zoom in here on Amy Andrews, because she's getting mocked by Sunderland fans. This just gives it the ear. In the moment, you'll see that, and obviously Becky gives it a little bit of a fist pump as well. But these scenes are just brilliant, aren't they?
I love them. I was noticing every time I've watched back on the vlog and stuff. That, go on, Amy. I've never noticed that. What? Who are you? What are you saying, Mackems? What? You're saying nothing, and we're going to do the same thing as when he's come to St. James's Park. We're going to smash his even more there, and there's going to be 30,000. We'll watch. Go on, Becky. You're taking us away back with these clips, man. I need to look away when I'm talking or something, because I'm getting wrapped into the moment of the game. But Jodie Bartle, I noticed that when I was there, and I've noticed when I watched back on the clips. I love this moment. Hey, Katie Barker's was so emotional. She was crying, wasn't she?
Well, I didn't notice that, no.
Yeah, Katie Barker had some tears in her eyes. I'm sure I catch it on my vlog, but there, Katie had some tears in her eyes. There goes Katie. Oh, absolutely amazing. Totally went away from your question, but this is genuinely, you don't have to answer that question. Look, this is what it means.
Even Potsy got involved.
She doesn't show emotion, and she showed so much emotion at the end of that match.
Yeah,
honestly,
good.
You're right though. It is like a cup final to some of these glasses, because some of them don't know if they're definitely going to be here next season and seasons onward. So they're getting a chance to smash Sunderland in the derby. They're going to take every second, knowing what it means to every single person that they went and celebrated with, us fans at the end of the day. They know how much that means to it, and it means the same to a lot of them girls. I bet Katie Barker was walking in and buying Beth Lumsden pints for the rest of the night, you know what I mean?
Stan King's birthday, didn't they?
Yeah, they all went out. Seen some good images on Insta and that. Obviously, we don't share them. That's for them lasses and that, the staff to enjoy. But it was fantastic to see them just having a great time and enjoying it afterwards. It means so much to them, honestly.
I want to pick a gripe for Sunderland in particular, because for not allowing us to have the press and not bringing the interviews that we would have put out in full is a really bugbear of mine, which is a real, I'll keep it clean, not very professional. Yes, we are Newcastle fans, but we would have shown YouTube the emotions. I've seen a couple of other interviews that Becky had in the club as well, which are really, really good interviews, but I think any one of us had the chance, a local lad like ourselves, to interview. Oh, you must be buzzing, because they'll know that we're local, and it's not the quite same. It's not a media attachment to fan media attachment, and I was just a little bit annoyed that we didn't get the press, because normally we do, and that's a little bit my bugbear about Sunderland, and one or two idiots sitting with the Sunderland fans as well. That wound me up a little bit. I didn't quite get that. Why would sit with the Sunderland fans to antagonise them, but in fact, almost everybody, there was one other idiot right at the start of the match who was squaring up to 14-year-old, but apart from that, everyone else was well behaved. We all thoroughly enjoyed with the out, and then obviously everyone else went to drink at the Stack, which we kind of put together, mini organised, you want to call it that, and other people went to the one near the corner as well. But it was just a class day, and got some funny things to show you now, because Shola Amiobi's done it. So
yes, God, I love that, absolutely love that. She knows the assignment, she knows what she's doing.
I might just change the thumbnail to that,
Hat off. What?
I might just change the thumbnail randomly after that now.
Yeah, do you know what it is? That's what needs to happen, just every now and then, just bosh, there you go.
She's been told to do that, it's quite clearly. She hasn't just done that accidentally.
Do you know what I would hope? I would hope that, Sunday night, Beth's sitting there, Slater's sitting there, and she gets a phone call from a number unknown to her phone, and she picks it up, and it's Shola Amiobi, and he's like, all right, Beth.
All right, Beth, I'll do the back player.
You need to do the pose.
For people that are listening, we've got a picture of Shola Amiobi on a bike, his famous bike, eating an apple, obviously Mackem Slayer. Beth has obviously gone and done that as well a couple of days later, jumped on a bike, eating an apple as well, same pose and everything, so it's quite hilarious to see that, and obviously she got a lot of plaudits. Was greatly received online across all social media platforms. Nickname M Slayer. Joe's lineup, I think she was in that as well.
Yes.
it was absolutely fantastic to see. Got to fix those numbers to make them 26. Yeah, as in the goal scorer. Says James, nice to see you in the live chat, James. And then we've got the other one, of course. I haven't stopped there. We've seen Alexander Isak with his dog in the street. Now you've seen Beth Lumsden in the street.
Absolutely love it, man. This is what I love about the community and that we've got. Like bringing out stuff like this just instantly, like sod the comparisons about men, women, whatever. This is just we've got multiple Mackem slayers. We've got Beth walking that dog, but just like Isak was, probably bought the lead in the dog from the same place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I love it. Honestly, it just fills us with so much joy and pure happiness about this moment, that was smashed. I can't help saying it. Smash the Mackems. We've got a lad from Sunderland who comes into work and he's actually at the match. And he turned around and said the same. You went, nowadays you're going to take the mick out of me until we do something back. And I was like, mate, you're not going to though. Like, we've got the M-Slayer. Who you got? Interesting one to ask. And yes. Everyone in the comments, see if you answer this as well. Does Beth Lumsden never leave Newcastle now?
Well, you never know, do you, in women's football, because I think they have a shorter turnaround probably in the men now, don't they? Especially the way we're going up the leagues. But she'll be always remembered that day. So, and obviously there's some fans that are saying, "Oh, it's only women's football and all that sort of stuff." But these are the community that we have, a different set of fans to the men's. Some of them only go to women's games. That's it. They only have interest in women. That's it. Some of them aren't even bothered about being men supporters. Some are, don't get me wrong. But for them individuals, that was their moment. It was really nice to see. James has gone on and asked kind of a similar question early days, but do we want to see Sunderland men's promoted to the Premier League or not? Go on then, Joe. I'll go off topic dead quickly.
Sunderland men in the Premier League. Yeah, I want to see it for the derby. I want to see that derby back. I want to have that feeling again. I like.
So it's similar to what you had a couple of weeks ago.
It is exactly. I want to re-experience that, but for the men's team. But at the same time, for bragging rights, I don't want Sunderland to be in the Premier League. But my dad, he'll probably hate that I'm saying this and putting him out, and I hope you all give him jip. My dad, he's one of those who he likes to see all northeast teams performing well, for lack of a better word. He doesn't say doing well, but he says, "All right."
Well. I'm not that bothered if Sunderland. I know they're the first or second in the Championship. Yeah. Not bothered if they come up or not. We had one, obviously, a great day out early on this year in January when they rolled the red carpet out, literally, and that was a great day. So I've had two of my best times have been in Sunderland this year. Funny that.
Strange.
Very strange. A couple of stats to go. Actually, we'll go on to Q2 since we're nearly 23 minutes in. So Q2, well, Clue 2 rather. My dad is fairly famous. You will know who it is.
Oh.
So we'll go back to Clue 1. Clue 1 is who am I? I have a YouTube channel, and my last upload was within 2 months ago. And then the second clue is my dad is fairly famous. You will know who it is. So remember, this is only affiliated, either past or present, with Newcastle United. So it could be someone in the media, a footballer, an ex-player, current player, and so on and so on. Someone who's affiliated. So there's your 2 clues so far. If you want to have some guesses in the comments, please do. We will reveal who that is a little bit later. Yeah, so do please come out.
I'm keeping thought because I did have a player written down, but now I'm like, no, it can't be.
You've got you thinking. Gav's in the comments. Good to see our photographer. Let the cat on the stream, Lee. Yeah, she was trying to get in there. You must have seen outside. Have none of it. Good to see you, Gav. Gav, if you know who that is, have a guess. James rolled out the black and white carpet, you mean? Yes. It would be fantastic. Howie the Bar. What's called Howie the Bar? Something, wasn't
it? What?
Something like that. The Sunderland one and the men's one. They decked it out and renamed it.
Oh, Howie the Black Cat's Bar.
They renamed it Howie Bar, something.
Oh,
could have waited. But yeah, so George doesn't know who that is. If you listen on the audio, I wonder if you guys have as well. But going on to a couple of stats. Obviously, player of the match, I think it's unanimous. 8.8 is quite low. I think a bit higher for Beth. 8.8, and this is according to Sofa score. This isn't our scores. And they have Bernie 7.2. She only played a half. That's probably because she got an assist and a clean sheet, I'm guessing there. Demi Stokes, again, doing well in around the 7s. And a couple of Sunderland players doing well there with Elena Dale, easy for me to say, Natasha Fenton and Emily Scar all getting 7.2s. Now, interestingly, on that, I always like to put the graph up because it shows the demographics of the game. Ooh, big word, Lee. Big word for you. So people that are visual who are watching, at the very top you see Newcastle United badge with the blue. So that's when we're dominating possession and in the final third. And then the Sunderland one at the top is for them as well. As you can see, a good 75%, 80% even, is largely Newcastle. That shows to me, Joe, that we were pretty comfortable because if you look at their goal, that's when the pressure come when they scored and there and after.
Yeah, that's an impressive graph to look at. That one,
I do like that graph.
I've seen a few times. That's a really impressive one. Just before I go into the graph and the stats a little minute as well, another thing that for the viewers, if you just look to the top right of your screens, just next to the image, you'll also see me looking like I'm trying to take a selfie. I've never noticed that before until now.
Next to the blue bar.
Yeah, next to the blue bar on the right side, I am.
I think you either milk and giving back to Sunderland fans because you win this. Weirdly, you win the same row, me, but we didn't notice because we originally, when you first sat down, you weren't.
I know because I totally misread my seats, and ironically, and this is one everyone can clip up and laugh at, was my 6-year-old daughter who knew we were in the wrong seats. Not me. So yeah, but no, honestly, that is a tail of the tape. You'd probably see about a good 2/3 of that graph is Newcastle blue dominating possession.
Yeah.
Like it's again, it's testament what we were saying before about how we looked in the first half, and it proves that in the second half we were a stronger team. Not as much in it in the second half, albeit, but we were the stronger team. I'm very happy about that. Too right, I am.
Yeah, a bit of pressure towards the end, but largely that's a pretty good performance from the lasses as well. And we have been performing really well. It's just sometimes we're conceding daft late goals at the minute, which would have us in a lot higher position. And speaking of position, so this was the league table after the Sunderland game. So we'll check up on the Charlton game at the moment. But at that stage, the gap between the top six is only like literally 3 points. It could be anyone's, and a couple of teams have got a game in hand. How important was that win to get nearer, if there is aspirations, Joe, to get promoted?
Massive. I said it early on. It was before the season even started. I turned around and said, if we are expecting to finish in the top end of the table, or if we are expecting to get triple promotion, we need to win the derbies, or as many of them as possible. Not draw, not lose. We need to win them, especially the Sunderland ones, for one thing and one thing only, not the 3 points, momentum. That momentum could carry us off into some absolutely fantastic displays. And again, we're all going to come up to talk about it, but I think that's a massive reason why we did so well against Charlton. That victory is a huge boost for our season. Even if we were to finish second or third and just miss out on the trophy and promotion, it would mean absolutely massive amounts to the team. You think about the morale, you think about the experience going against such a high achieving team in Sunderland. I hate saying that, but it's such a high achieving team. They've done amazing in women's football, and we went toe to toe and beat them quite comfortably. That is just, it's massive for the lasses out there. It's huge.
I think also if we got beat off Durham the way we did, and then get beat off Sunderland, that's a double knock on effect. Not just the two derbies, but mentally, as they say, we could spiral quite easily. But I think Becky's said this numerous of times in the press and stuff, that teams will take points off each other. And who told us? I can't remember who told us last week, but I'm sure Palace lost 4 games last season and went up. I might be wrong on that. But obviously that was a 22 game. But have a look at that. But normally, obviously last season we blitzed the league. But I think this will be tight again come the end of the season. But we'll come back to that a little bit as Joe, I think, is checking. So, great week. Fast forward on to Charlton. We'll bring up, obviously, the lineup on your screen here. So, as I mentioned, Liv Watt a little bit earlier was replaced, and we kind of changed the system a little bit. Why did Becky change that? We will ask her. We will hear from her in a minute. But what was your initial thoughts going more or less a wing back system?
I was shocked because all of a sudden I went, whoa, we're back in tier 3. And the irony that I ended up actually going on to say that in the game as well. But it was weird. It was very, very similar. And I said it to a few people before the match. I went, this is very similar setup that we use in tier 3. That's tried, tested, and it's for one thing and one thing only: high presses and belligerent, annoying attacks,
Well, that's a big
which
word.
defenders hate. I do know me words. I do eat my dictionary. I should be careful. People are going to clip that one up. But anyways, yeah, no, it's for that reason, for persistent attacks. There's another one. And just annoying the defenders and the goalkeeper, which certainly, as we'll go into, we did. I love that lineup. I love the setup.
Yeah, I'll keep the graphic. I'll bring it back in on the loop again. But two up top though, that was probably for me the more surprising one. I haven't even put that on loop ever. Let's do that again. There we go. That's back on loop for you. Two up top, and we're kind of thinking who's playing one off each other because Amy Andrews didn't even play last week. She's back in the lineup. That was the like, ooh, Shania up top. How's she going to get on here? More on that in a minute. Lewis Joel was back in centre midfield, and Hannah Greenwood was playing one of the three at the back. And obviously, Deanna was back, but only a place on the bench. With Deanna, was that just a case of she may have only just come back?
I think it was just a matter of just coming back. I think as well, you don't want
to. In the next game, she comes straight in again.
That's what. See, there's where I'm thinking about it as well, though. Probably not, because there's some very high end, high pace. I know a lot of teams are dangerous, whatever, etc., etc. But when you're thinking about Charlton, Birmingham, the very high energy, high pace teams, and I just don't think, and this is no slight to her, fantastic, but I just don't think it's Indiana's game for that. So I don't think she'll come straight back in the next game or two. But
I think she might. I think we'll go back at for me. I think I'll be back at the two at the back. I think Deanna will come in, then it's either Fernie or Potsy again.
I hope it's sick of this system.
And obviously Birmingham. We'll touch on briefly, but Birmingham's a tough game. They're scoring goals for fun at the moment. There you go, Cozy. Palace lost 4 and drew 4 in a 22-game season.
I was waiting for a break. I did have it on my screen, but
we lost 1 and 6. Plenty of scope. It might have been Cozy. Was it not you? Tell me that then. Someone definitely tell us when I was wandering around filming everybody. Plenty of scope for many teams fighting for promotion. Surprised Cozy hasn't got that that quiz yet from the 2 clues. Disappointed in you, Cozy.
I even spoke to him about that. I seen him in town after a couple of days after that, and I said to him, "How do you get it so quick?" He was like, "Mate, there was just something I just knew." I was like, "Whoa!" So where's your guess, Cozy? You're slacking. In fact, you're eliminated. You're not allowed the third clue. If it gets to the third clue from now on and Michael Corwood hasn't made a guess, he's eliminated. You've got before the third clue, mate. Try it.
Yes, please do. Right, this is what we're going to do is we're going to skip straight to the match reaction and then we'll dissect the game. This was me and Joe outside of a very disappointing Kingston Park. So we've just came out, everybody. This is our match reaction for the Pink on behalf of Newcastle Fans TV. Very deflating mood amongst players and amongst... I've just spoken to Becky just before. It feels like a defeat, doesn't it?
It does. I don't think it should, but it does feel like a defeat. It feels like you've really... A couple of them were saying, Amy Andrews before turned around said it's a really hard one to take despite her having such a good performance. You're going against league leaders and you're in a position where you're dominating the game and you end up finishing with only 1 point to take away. It's hard. Really is hard.
Very hard. Obviously, we threw it away and we're 3-1 up in the 92nd minute and somehow we've came away for a draw. Obviously, Shania Hale's absolutely unreal performance and a slight change up front, wasn't there? It was 2 up top with Amy Andrews back in the lineup and Charlton couldn't cope with the pace. Newcastle flew into a 2-0 lead thanks to 2 great goals by Shania and obviously clawed one back. And then obviously we went 3-1 up and Shania stepped up and scored the penalty. But as I say, 2 late goals. I asked Becky there about will they analyse it looking at back, and it's difficult for them to take, and it's international break, and I asked the same question as well. Is it a good time, is it a bad time? So flip a coin, but we're not far off, I don't feel. And if you look at, like, if you want to get promoted again for a 3rd season in a row, I don't feel Newcastle United are that far off.
Look, if you want to look at that first half, we are league leaders. I was literally standing up shouting, whose league? War League, because we were the dominant side in that first half by far. And even in the second half, yes, the way it ended that way with the player sent off and such. However, we went toe-to-toe with how I'm seeing it with Giants. We went toe-to-toe with them and we showed with display. We are ready, and I didn't expect this, I make my own words here, but we are ready to compete for promotion and to fight for promotion. We are ready. And I was not ready. I didn't think we would be at this point, but we are, and I'm very, very, very pleased about that. Great display by the lasses today. Absolutely phenomenal. The need to hold their heads high after that performance, because again, we can't stress it enough. Charlton were in contention and nearly had the title last season. We have just went toe to toe and took a point away from them. All else put aside, that's great. That's great.
The last one, obviously, with the lasses, did that red card affect the result?
Yes, you can't say. There's a couple of people who've turned around and said it changed the game. No, it didn't change the whole game because it was in the last 10 minutes. It doesn't change the whole game, but it did change the result. We lost ourselves. We got panicked. At the end of the day, you can see how much of a leader Amber Stobbs is on that pitch. When your captain goes off the pitch, most times someone takes a captaincy and you don't see much of an effect in the last 5 minutes and it doesn't change the game. Amber left that pitch and everyone was shook. Everyone was shaken. No one knew. They knew what they were meant to be doing, but it was just that we got took advantage. The pressure came on top of it. It was a horrible call to take. It was, but it changed the result. If that hadn't went in, it might have ended 3-2. It wouldn't have ended 3-3. No chance. No chance.
But obviously Newcastle did beat the Mackems last week in their own backyard, and a draw today, it feels like a defeat, but it's still really, really tight at the top of the championship. It's only one team, remember, that goes up. Newcastle are still in the hunt. We do have a game in hand on one or two clubs as well, but that's it from me and Joe. See you, everyone. We are pretty deflated after coming out, because that was like raw emotion, literally. Went in the presser, done the presser, and obviously we'll see if we hear from Becky in a minute. And it was hard to take after seeing it at Durham, and then we hung on at Sunderland, Joe, and then we threw it away. I'll come back to that later, actually, but we can see by the pictures we are depressed. Just quickly on the clues again. Who am I? Clue 1: I have a YouTube channel, and my last upload was within 2 months ago. Clue 2: my dad is fairly famous. You will know who it is. There's your clues so far. We'll give you clue 3 coming up very, very shortly. But let's talk about the start, because it got off to an incredible start, Joe. I mean, it surprised us how easy it looked with Amy Andrews and Shania Hales, and Amy Andrews does fantastically well on that left-hand side, and then literally Shania just has I call it a tap-in, she's got a little bit more than that, but we're 1-0 up, and then the second one as well, she takes incredibly well, and it's a start that you're thinking, where's this come from? This is Charlton.
It was blowing my mind. I couldn't believe how we took that first half, how we came out all guns blazing. This is what I meant when that second goal went in. I was sat there and I turned around and I went, is this tier 3 again? What?
10-0 every week.
It felt like it felt like one of those games again, didn't it? I spoke to a few people at half time, and a few people were going, it feels like tier 3 again. It feels like as if we're all going to come out in the second half and score another 6 goals. Like, it's now. I was shocked that we were going against Charlton. I kept having to check me. So, hey, look at that sexy, as Dave Webster would say, sexy man. Big fish, little fish, cardboard box, terribly done. But no, it was unbelievable the way we were playing. You highlighted Shania Hales there. One thing I really wanted to highlight was Hannah Greenwood. Once again, she came out and she's a player who I feel gets overlooked in that match quite a bit. Done the same.
Why is that? Is it because she's not a glamorous player? I'm trying to be nice the way I put it. She's not like, how can I put it? If the men's game, you would say sexy on the eye, in terms of like, she's not a midfielder that's going to bend one top corner from 30 yards or go past 2 players. She does the good stuff, what she's good at, which is positioning, crunching, all in it, all heart. I think she's versatile as well. Is it because she's not going to grab the headlines all the time at the other end of the pitch?
It's bang on, mate. Literally, that you said it perfect the first time. She isn't your Jazz McQuaid. She isn't your Alicia Body. She isn't even your Charlotte Potts, because sometimes you see Charlotte Potts take the ball and go, you know what it is? Have a bit of this, and she runs up the pitch and takes a shot. Hannah's not that. Hannah is, I would imagine, for me personally, Hannah Greenwood being the teacher's pet. Becky says it, Hannah does it. It's simple as that. She's a fantastic player going out there, and she hasn't had a lot of time on the pitch before the Charlton game. Not a significant amount to start against the league leaders like Charlton. And she comes out and she just fills her role so well, switches into left back a couple of times to cover Demi, switches into right back a couple of times to cover Liv, switches into the defensive midfield position a few times, even switches up to go into like sort of like right midfield once or twice when she needed to. I love that about Hannah Greenwood. She is fantastic at doing that stuff, but I do feel she gets overlooked, and I feel like in that game she does get overlooked. She really, really impressed me in that game. Look, I love your reaction on that second goal, man. Oh man, it was phenomenal. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I can't stress that enough. How well we were playing.
Jeff coming over. Oh, I can't believe that what a goal!
Look at that! Did you see that one, Lee? Oh, bloody Aaron! Aaron, son. Aaron,
he's telling everybody
about me now. You're working at the club, son. Remember who used to bring you in all them times ago, right, Aaron? All right, good lad. Get us a coffee.
It's good job he doesn't watch our videos. So absolutely fantastic. And Shania, unplayable, obviously, as I say, 2-0 up. And she nearly had a third. And I think, in hindsight, it's easy to look back and say, if that goes in, it's game over. I just think it's better game management if we seen the game out, because just a pace. We've said it before. So it's just, at this level, it's frightening. You just get on, that pace that she's got. And it always seems like the defender has always got like a 3 or 4 yards head start on her, and she still burns them. She nearly scored. I think, in hindsight, you might say that a 3-0, that's game over, possibly. But I do think there was a tweak, or there was a knock and play at one stage, and Charlton players got together.
Yeah.
And they stopped that gap that was running through them, because it was easy for Shanna Hales and Amy Andrews. That stopped it. I thought that was absolutely a little bit of cleverness from their manager, even though they're 2-0 down, because they stopped it after that.
Yeah. You can't knock Charlton the way they came back into the game. Got the Shania Hale glasses on since we're talking about her. You can't knock Charlton the way that they came back into the game. They were brilliant at that. I recognise that moment when you've just said that. I do recognise that moment when they got together and they sort of cooked Hales
Twice
off.
It was they got a bollock, and didn't they? And the captain got them together.
Yeah. One player I want to actually shout out on the Charlton team is Tatiana, their goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. That game, even before the half-time whistle, could have been 3 or 4-0 without her. Her positioning, I think so far she's the only keeper for me who potentially looks just as good as Claudia Moan. Potentially better with some of the dives and moves she was making. She was phenomenal, and Charlton really want to do their best to keep a hold of a goalkeeper.
Speaking of Claudia, she looked an absolute distraught when she came off. I think a lot of people did, with the way we threw it back. And obviously 2-1, were you nervous when that happened?
No, because we were still playing well. Yeah, they'd cut our attack off, but we were still holding the midfield. We're still doing well with possession. Yeah, Charlton were looking that little bit more dangerous. But I was confident. I was still confident. It's like, we just need one more. Yeah, and we're away again. That's all we need. Yes, I was gutted about the goal. I was a bit like, this shouldn't happen. They've really took advantage of it here and to potentially morale dampener. But I wasn't nervous at that point. It was another moment later in the game that's when I got a bit nervous. But obviously then the third goal comes up, which is a penalty, which, Lee, you had a better breakdown, especially from where you were. How did that penalty come about?
It's not. I don't think it's for. Again, I haven't even watched the goals back, to be honest. I don't think it's for the initial part. I think it's the follow through. I think that's what it is. Because initially I was surprised that was given as a penalty, to be honest. Say again.
On Lewis Julia.
Yeah, I just thought, is that a penalty? I just thought it was. I thought she's given it as a follow through, and obviously Shania steps up and bags a hat-trick, which is absolutely fantastic for her, and a massive confidence boost for her, because that's now 5 so far this season, which is quite incredible. And you can see some of the, obviously, people that listen on the audio, you can see some of the reactions as Charlton start to put the pressure on. 3-1. I thought, again, yeah, comfortable. However, I have to address the elephant in the room. As much as I love her, did that second yellow card affect the game?
I want to pull back to when we were reviewing the game, and I keep it's one of those moments that haunt me because I have a proper Michael Owen quote. No, it didn't change the game; it changed the result. Yeah, so that changed the game, Joe. But no, it was devastating. Look, I know a lot of people are wanting to debate about what happened. Was it a fair red card? Was it this? Was it that? You can go back and look at the footage, and maybe you should just kick the ball at the same time as the whistle goes, so it's not going against the referee. I can't think of that word now. Dissent. It's not like dissent to the referee or the game in itself. Whatever. Look, it happened. Should have just left the ball, kept her head calm, walked away from the whole thing. But it's hindsight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It was a devastating.
I think we have to defend better because
yeah,
we're 3-1 up in the 93rd minute, I want to say, and we end up drawing. There's something wrong there, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Is it a mentality thing, Joe, that we've threw away a win because it was one after another? It was like it happened so quick. It was like devastation again. Similar to Durham, it's like, how's this happened? Is it the set pieces? Is it the long balls? Are we nervous under pressure? What is it? Why are we conceding so late? Throwing away results effectively.
I don't think that we're good enough on the corners. That is one thing I think we need a bit.
Was that the set piece?
Yeah, so the set pieces. Free kicks were a little bit better at setting up on, although we don't win a hell of a lot of dangerous free kicks, which isn't an issue. I would like more, yes, of course, but it's not a major issue because we can score in play, you know. But with corners isn't the most amazing that it has been in the last season. I'm going to say what a lot of fans are probably going to be wanting us to say right now, and I'll just say it, but we're missing that certain whipping ability of a certain Tyler Dodds on the corner. I want someone who can drive that ball a bit higher and a bit more accurately into the box. Not saying I would get rid of anyone who's going up and taking them corners. No, I just want maybe a little bit more practice on getting them balls more accurately in. And then when it comes to the defense, me personally, I don't think we're used to. And you can see this in just about every single game we've played so far, no matter how well we've played. Mentioned it about Sunderland. We've mentioned it about Durham. You can go back and see the London City Lionesses game, and in the second half, you can see the difference. We are not fully used to this league yet, and we are not used to teams on such a regular basis being able to play and challenge with for 90 minutes. We're used to teams challenging with for 30. We're used to teams challenging with for 65. And that's went on for, apart from a couple of flukes and a couple of bogeys, and that's been going on for about 3 years now. We've seen that journey, Lee. And now it's time for it to start knuckling down. And
do we have to just accept that we're not going to win every week now? Now we're in a professional environment, a professional league rather, not environment, sorry. Is that we are playing teams who are established, like Durham's been in the CFO division for 14 years. Charlton were contenders last season. We're not blasting teams 8-0, 9-0. It just doesn't happen. It very rarely happens in this league. And there will be days where we're seeing it with the criticism. One or two people were shown where, I think Causey was shown as well, that the criticism is a little bit overhyped when we don't win.
Yep.
Is that just because, what is that down to? Is that just a new fan, or is that just fans so used to winning 3s, 4s, 5s every week?
A bit of both, I think. It is, I would probably say, if I was putting in percentages, 70% of it's new fans who haven't been there very long. But I think some of it as well is people who are genuinely used to winning every single week, and not just winning. They're used to winning so confidently as well, where no one's really challenging in the last 30 minutes of a game. If we last season and the season before were winning 3-0 by, or 3-1, right, to put it in the same context, if we were winning 3-1 by the 60th minute, we know we've won. We're celebrating. We're not bothered if we nip down to the bar, miss one goal, because it's probably going to be another 2 more, you know. So, it is hard, and I think fans need to grip that factor that, again, like you've just said, we're going to lose. We're going to have bad performances, and we need to look at them like a learning curve. Potsy said on Instagram, but we're going to get back up from this, and we're going to learn about this. And I agree with that from Charlotte Potts. We'll get back up. This is almost a victory in itself, because we've taken a point away from a game. Realistically, we could have been scrambling for a point, and we've taken that point away. And it's time to now go look back at that game and see what we're doing wrong and make it better. Let's make it right in the next few games. Even if it's a 1-0 victory, seeing that we can see these games out till the very end.
Ugly. Yeah.
It's necessary right now, and it goes back to that thing about Becky. I am unapologetically ambitious. Great. Let's show it.
I think, as I say again, I said top 5. I think most fans will be delighted with that. Let's have a look at some of your comments before we get on to match stats and Becky's reaction. We'll reveal who Clue 3 is as well. Causy's going to say the second yellow card was harsh on Amber. If you watch the highlights back, she just clearly clears the ball as the whistle is blown. You could argue she knew the whistle was coming, but timing-wise, it seems very, in capital letters, very harsh. Gav's gone on to say Greenwood is like Busquets. Not the star, but doesn't do anything wrong and keeps things ticking over. Causey thinks the quiz is Josh McLaren. We'll have to wait and see on that. That might be the first one he's got wrong. Lads, they've been playing, this is Demo, lads have been playing part-timers and amateurs for the past 3 seasons. Now they're facing nationals and the pace of the game and the skill levels are much higher. Agree on that. And James has gone and said, that's not true though, is it? We've been constantly bringing in players who compete at these higher levels, like so Stokes, Furness, haven't been playing part-timers. We've got a team capable of mixing it. I think you're right, James. We do mix it. There's not one game where we've been battered. Even though we've had a defeat 1, we lost a lead 3-1 up. There's not been one game when we've come away at any game home away for, God, we're awful a day. We doesn't deserve anything. There's not one game we've always been in it. And that shows the testament of how we've recruited, how we performed, and also other teams thinking, you know what, these aren't going to be a walkover. So, yeah, so do keep your comments in.
On that note, by the way, Lee, I spoke to the Charlton fans after the game and asked the Charlton fans whether they're surprised about how we played. And they said, totally based on what being a new team, they expected to walk in this game be a lot easier than what it was. So even the Charlton fans thought that, and we went out and we're shined against them. I'm buzzing about that. Look at them stats as well, man. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does look fairly average because it looks like Charlton got a little bit more possession, but I think that's just the pressure later on that second half as well. Look, I don't know if you can read too much into stats as well, but I'm not going to say it's a fair game because I don't actually believe that's true. I think it was probably 2/3 Newcastle, if I'm being, if you want me to be brutally honest on that. But the game, the biggest stat that you need to look at is goals. So there you go. And another Gav as well. What's all with these Gavins coming in? Juno. Gavin and Stacey. We just need Stacey coming. Yeah, I've totally missed it off. I was going to go to the Q3 for you. So I'll just remind you of Q1. Clue 1, I have a YouTube channel and my last upload was within 2 months ago. Who is that? Who's got a YouTube channel? My dad is fairly famous. You will know who it is. And that's where Causey gets excited now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I am a current player or staff member. So I have a YouTube channel. I did an upload within 2 months. My dad is fairly famous. And I am a current player or staff member.
Yep.
We shall reveal who that is. If you want to keep your guesses coming in, please do come along. Joe has been playing along as well, so you might have got it. But after that, then, we spoke to Becky, so we shall be back with you in about 90 seconds. Becky, with the change of formation, what was your thinking behind that? Because quite clearly they couldn't cope with Shania and Amy up top.
Yeah, I think that was bang on. I think we wanted to have 2 forwards up against their back 3, and I think that shape at the start of the game caught them off guard, and I think that surprise of shape actually probably gave us that real confidence and advantage for us definitely those first 15 minutes of the game, and obviously it was brilliant. We found ourselves 2-0 up, so yeah, the shape was good, and then we made the tweak at half-time to ensure we were a bit more structurally harder to play through, I guess, and we've got that 2-goal advantage, so we felt comfortable with that. And then, yeah, obviously the game develops and it's ended in a way that, it's really frustrating.
How do you dissect a game like that where you're 2-0 up, 2-1, then you go 3-1 up, but then concede 2 late goals? Are you going to look back at that and analyse why that happened?
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got to see the game in different chunks. If we were just looking at the first 20 minutes, we'd be ecstatic with how we played and how we, almost took advantage of the weaknesses of Charlton and found ourselves 2-0 up. I think for large spells of the game, we didn't keep the ball well enough regardless. But yeah, I think obviously the last 10 minutes, I don't want that to overshadow, great performance, but I think it showed in the game great moments of quality, but also our inexperience at times.
And the last one for me is that the international break, is that coming at a good time or a bad time?
I thought it was going to be a good time with 8 minutes to go. Now, no, I don't think it is a good time. I'd like to play in the next game, next week and crack on again.
Cheers, Becky. Thank you very much, Becky, for those responses when I was in the presser, but obviously inexperience there, Joe. Is that what it comes down to? Obviously, she mentioned she didn't want the whole performance to look at like the last 10 minutes, there's a red card and 2 goals conceded and you've just blew it basically. Is that the inexperience of some players, not all? You are unmute yourself.
My bad. You're as strong as your weakest link. So the inexperience of some players or all as a collective, I would rather put it down as a collective. Other players are meant to big each other up.
I still think that happens. I still think they're all together.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I don't think I would put it down to one person. Like,
do you not want them to feel like shit in a weird way? You want them to feel hurt,
yeah,
because then it drives the highs are even more sweeter.
Yeah, it's one thing when you mentioned about Claudia. I seen her after the match and she walked out and I was like, yeah, well played, Claudia. And she went, and the first thing she went and she turned around and she turned around and she went, the result. She mentioned the result. And I just looked at her and I didn't know what to say. So for a second, I was like, well, but head up, you still drew against league leaders. Come on. I suppose. They're hurt. The them players are hurt. It took Amber ages and ages. She was the last one out by a mile. They are hurt. They've felt that, and I do, in the nicest way possible. I want that so it's like we know that gut and feeling. Right now, we get better. Now we'll come back and we'll make something. We'll make something happen. Now, it's a hard one to take, horrible to take, but it's going to spill on to do better things. Like you say, them highs are going to be much higher now. We're going to be when we come back and we'll go against Birmingham. We've got next, isn't it?
Birmingham away, yes, it is in St Andrews.
We've got a point to prove. Do you know what I mean? We've got a big point to prove against Birmingham. We're able to go out there against Charlton and take the lead. What's stopping us from doing it against Birmingham? Only ourselves.
Interesting. Lovely message from Lily White Lane, who's a Spurs fan. Great to see. Big up, lad, Spurs fan, but love your content. Thank you very much for that. I think James has gone out and say the Lasses have been unfortunate in some of the results this season so far. The positives far outweigh the negatives. They can be dangerous going forward if they use it as motivation. 100% great comment. League table. So this is your current league standings after that. And Newcastle could have gone very, very close had they picked up an extra 2 points. But again, 6 points between the top 7 and only 5 points between the top 6. And a couple of teams, Birmingham and Charlton have played an extra game. So no one's running away with this yet.
Nah, no one. I'm chuffed looking at that table, man. Like sitting 5th, 6 games into the league. Like we say, we've got a game in hand over a couple of teams. Buzzing with that table. Like it's testament to what we're wanting to do, what we're wanting to prove while being here. It's still that continued thing of what Andy Cook said, where he said, you're proving a point by going full time, by doing it. You're showing the whole country that it's worth doing, and that message is still continuing now because of where we're sitting. If we had straight away been sat in 10th or 11th, sadly, like Portsmouth are, which is a big shocker. I think just about everyone should be shocked about that one. But to look at the table like that and we're still continuing on this, and there's no way to put it other than meteoric rise, which is what it is. We are flying up these tables. We are making a point and we are becoming a force to be reckoned with. And it's proven to every other club in the United Kingdom. And I hope further afield as well, it's proven to them that women's sport is worth, and this is a message I keep saying, women's sport is worth investing in. Clubs, get amongst it, put money and effort into the lasses, put them into your teams, get them out there. Look at what's happening at Newcastle. We are flying through. This is what can happen if you put the right time, effort, and investment into a women's team. This is where they can be, and we are just paying back dividends to the.
It's a shining light of women's football in the northeast because, yes, you've got Sunderland and Durham, but Durham, fair play at them. They don't have a men's team to back them up, so fair play.
Yeah.
So Newcastle obviously is shining light, ploughing money back in, wages wise, not really spending money on transfers, but wages wise, we're obviously bringing a high caliber of lionesses and Rachel Furness back home and what have you. But yeah, that was the league table, and if Newcastle win against Birmingham, that is very, very close. Newcastle go right up behind them, 2 points behind with a game in hand, and all of a sudden it looks rosy again. So do you know what I mean? So it's still very, very tight, and especially with that game in hand as well, because obviously the dropout with Redden made it a little bit awkward for everyone in the league. We're coming towards the end. If you haven't dropped us a like already, please do. But a couple of other news, and then we shall review. Two lasses on your screen there. Lewis Joel and Shania Hales have both been called up to international duty during this international break. So Shania will be playing alongside former mag Paige Bailey-Gale. They've both been called up to the Jamaican side. I think they're playing France. Is it tonight? Maybe tonight. Next Friday. I'm sure it was tonight. I can't remember. And then Lewis obviously playing for Wales. So good luck to both those lasses as they are on international duty. I went Dutch there, duty. A lot of the lasses will more than likely had a few days off now. They'll be called back in to do some extra training, analytical and what have you. And yeah, so let's have a little look at who that person is. Clue. I keep saying Q. Clue, because I've got a Q there, that's why. Instead of Clue. Clue 1, I have a YouTube channel, and my last upload was 2 months ago. So someone's got a YouTube channel. Number 2, my dad is fairly famous. You will know who it is. And number 3, I am a current player or staff member. Joe, I know you know it now, but any guesses in between who you're thinking of? What was you thinking?
Earlier on, because I know she did have a YouTube for a while, and it must have been taken down because I actually went and checked it after Clue 2. But I did have Caramel and Redhead at one point because Clue 2 got us where I was. I don't know her dad. I don't think her dad's anything famous. And then I was like, who's Alicia Body's dad? Is it Alicia? And then I got stuck in this loop of going through all the players until a certain someone said something, and I slapped my forehead so hard.
Cozy, you've got it right again. How dare you? How dare you get that right? He's been on Google tonight, hadn't he? I am Josh McLaren, sports psychologist. He is the son of Steve McLaren. That's his famous dad. Now with, funny enough, Jamaica. Putting on the accent as well. And he's been at Newcastle. I think he hasn't been here that long. And I know he does some stuff with Northumbria Uni as well. So, yeah, I'm Josh McLaren. Looks nothing like his dad. But yes, it is Josh McLaren that we were thinking of. Thinking of a little bit outside the box. And he does have a YouTube channel as well. So if you want to check that out, it's called the McLaren Performance, or the McLaren Performance Podcast. He's had his dad on there a few times as well. But yeah, it's Josh McLaren. So well done, Cozy, once again. Couple of comments then. Hales has started and played 70 minutes against France tonight and was replaced by Paige.
Oh,
excuse me.
One Toon connection there, like, well done. That's cushy.
Yeah, James got on before the final clue. I was wondering if it was Ferdinand had a YouTube channel. And Lee was identifying as the fairly famous dad. Maybe I should get a TikTok account going for the little man. Years of sleep just over there, bless him. And it is YouTube about umbrellas. McLaren Performance, I see. But that is your kind of put together last minute. We've been waiting to do the pod for a few days. Joe's been busy, I've been busy with work and all that. So I hope you've enjoyed it on live on Twitch and YouTube. If you're watching the rerun, fair play to you. Fair play to you. We've got Birmingham City next weekend. Obviously, the lasses have a weekend off, so the men, obviously, I'll be down Chelsea for that one as well. So that's it. Enjoyed yourself, Joe?
Oh, massively so. Really, really, really enjoyed, most of all, reliving the Stadium of Light tour. That was unreal. It was mad how much it just filled us again. It's more testament to what this community does, what following football does to you. You know, there's moments where like you come out with Charlton and you're devastated and you don't know what to say to each other. And then there's moments where you walk out with Sunderland feeling like
Nice to reflect on it.
rampage. Yeah, it's beautiful to reflect. And I hope over this international weekend, if you're all watching back, look, just remember these moments. We're lacking a bit of football this weekend. So what? Remember these moments. It is absolutely amazing to relive them. Go back and watch them moments of the Ems player celebrating a couple of times. I certainly have, like multiple times. Being class, absolutely class as always. Hopefully not as long as the next one. Hopefully we can get the schedule sorted and we can get another one out to you sooner rather than later.
Excellent. Can you stream that, lad? Says Connor. We're off to the gym now this late, so that's why I'm wearing a coat, by the way. If no one's picked up on that, so happy days. But we shall love yous and leave yous, everyone. See yous very soon. Yeah, on NUFC Women's Podcast.